Proud now to be joined by PGA Tour Canada professional and Cleveland Golf brand ambassador, Mr. Jamie Sadlowski. Jamie, every time you and I play golf, every time I watch you hit a driver, I'm just in awe. Did you always possess that kind of power to generate that speed?
Yeah, since I was, 4 years old, I've always been able to hit it. I played, very unconventionally. I was a left-handed hockey player, and when I picked up a golf club, should have been a lefty, didn't have left-handed clubs, so I picked up a right-handed golf club and played cross-handed till I was about probably 13 years old. And I grew up playing that way. So I think, having the ability to hit the ball a long distance, doing it improperly, when you start, get the grip proper and everything, I'm 14 years old is when I started competing in long drive and, was successful for a long time.
You're taking the unconventional road to the PGA Tour, starting with long drive championships and now gearing back a bit to get onto the PGA Tour. Was that always your goal, to play professionally?
It was. I wanted to, try playing professionally golf maybe a little earlier in my career. But when you're successful at something and, you're kind of the guy in the sport for a long time, it's hard to walk away. I kind of wish I would have walked away a little bit earlier, just to gain that experience. I don't have college golf under my belt. I don't have playing a high level golf under my belt. So as I'm making that transition, I'm learning on a pretty short time frame, and I got to learn fast. So it's two different sports. Yes, you're holding a golf club. Yes, you're hitting a golf ball. But the theory of hitting six as far as you can and not having to hit a second shot to, molding your game to be well-rounded, it takes time, and it obviously takes a lot of work. But good things are on the horizon.
So we know you can launch it off the tee and put it down there as far as you can get it. But the key now for you is trying to hit the consistent iron shot.
Having different shots with different clubs, a variety of shots. So whether a 6-iron carries 220, well, you got to have the ability to cut it and, hit it 190 or hold it or do whatever. So I think that's part of the learning process, picking the right shot at the right time, and not having anything to go back onto. I don't have a previous playing career, so I can't take anything. So as I'm going, I'm learning, and I'm dissecting golf courses of how I want to play them. It's not just driver on every hole. The advantage I have is, people are always like, oh, you hit it so far with the driver. Well, also I can hit it far with the iron. So as soon as, I start making better decisions, more committed swings, a lot of it's commitment. I mean, you come from a background where I stand on the tee and I have 6 golf shots and I just have to hit one as far as I can. The whole mentality of playing 18 holes, being well-rounded, it takes some time, and it's a learning curve, and I'm kind of going through that right now. But, I've made some strides. I've made some changes in the last little while that I've seen some vast improvements.
How does that impact your practice or your preparation to go tee it up in a tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I was practicing last year and I'm, hitting full 6-irons, hitting full 8-irons, hitting full wedges. Well, when I get on the golf course, I don't hit many full shots. You got to flight it. You got to take the spin down with, you can't hit a pitching wedge from 165 yards and think you're going to keep it on the green. So, hitting flighted shots and curving it and, learn how to take some off. That's all part of playing golf, and that's something that I'm still learning.
Well, you've got the advantage because all these tour players, they want to watch you hit balls and pick your brain. Are you picking these tour players' brains now on how to become a better player?
Yeah, it's sure changed. I remember doing the John Deere Classic back in 2008. I just won Worlds, and they see this scrawny kid knocking over the back of the range, and everybody, you've got the TrackMan set up, and everyone's like, oh, can I just ask you a few questions? Well, I gave them what I thought. Now I'm kind of like, when I'm either playing in a pro-am or playing a practice round, and, I'm like, what do you see here? How would you hit this shot? It's hard to compare because, I do hit it so far, so it's hard, but you got to pick their minds and kind of test yourself to hit, an 8-iron from 140, even though I hit it from 180. There's certain circumstances in golf that it's not just a full shot every single time. So.
Well, I know that everybody at Cleveland Golf believes in you. What does being a brand ambassador for a company like Cleveland Golf mean to you?
I mean, it's extremely important. Going through a career change and joining the team. They've supported me from day one. Whether I'm in the office or whether it's the product alone. I mean, you feel like, yes, golf is an individual sport, but you have a whole company and whole brand with great people supporting you, which it means a lot, and it obviously helps when you know that the equipment you're using, you're giving yourself the best chance to succeed. And not many can say that.
For a guy that hits it as hard as you, I think feel would be a big thing as you try to lower your scores and
Yep.
and get your PGA Tour card. So the ball, you play the Z-Star XV.
I do.
The ball has got to be so important to you.
Yeah, I mean, you use it on every shot, and it's full shots, it's putting, it's chipping, it's having the ability to hit different shots and have the ball curve a certain way. But, you know, I've said ever since I started playing the XV, I mean, the ball has changed the way I play golf. I can control spin. I can control a lot of things that I couldn't control before. And, you know, playing up in Canada, we play short golf course, play really wet golf course, and I had trouble holding greens and being able to hit controlled shots. And now that, I mean, that dispersion's tightened. The flight has gone down. Most amateurs look for spin. I'm looking to knock off spin, and the golf balls really helped me do that.
I don't think people realize how difficult it is to qualify to get on the web.com tour, PGA Tour, or really any tour in the world. Walk us through your experience at Q School this year. You played well in the stage one.
Yeah, stage one. I had made some changes a couple weeks before. I kind of went back to just playing golf the way and swinging the golf club the way I think is correct. And I ended up being co-medalist after having a very, very bad summer. You know, it was not a good summer, and I wasn't in a great place, but, you know, I just went back to being an athlete and, you know, shut the brain off, just go out there. I remember when I was competing in long drive, people would be like, so what do you feel up there? I'm like, nothing. Brain goes off, be an athlete. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get back into now, and less thought, less am I doing this right, less am I doing, you know, this feels wrong, and more so just, you know, seeing a shot, feel a shot, hit the shot. So when I was co-medalist, I mean, I took a lot from that because it was a rough summer, and going into second stage, I had confidence, and, you know, I've made a few mental mistakes, and I think that's part of the process of, you know, when you just got to shoot a number on the fourth day to get in, you got to be able to shoot a number, whether it's even par. It was even par that day. I shot 2 over, made a few mental mistakes, but I think it's part of the process. I mean, makes you want it even more, and, you know, it's kind of what pushes the envelope.
Well, it's pretty clear when you look at you and you look at other people that are successful in golf, they may not look athletic as you look so athletic, but it gives you an insight that it isn't always about being athletic. It's about being crafty and cagey, and that's what you're trying to learn right now.
Yeah, I've played with a lot of really good older players that may not hit it anymore, but, you know, they hit little hybrids in from 180 and, you know, different shots, and you got to have those shots. You got to be able to think like that, and you know, when you're not hitting it well, you got to have a go-to shot, you know, something that you know is always going to cut, or always whatever the comfortable shot is. So stuff I'm learning, and stuff that, you know, I'll have in my arsenal when the time comes where I need it.
Who's been your biggest influence in the game? Do you have a mentor in the game?
I wouldn't say a mentor, but you know, I've been fortunate to surround myself with a lot of good people, like yourself, Gary McCord, guys that are always willing to help. They've played, they know the game. They watch the best players every week, which is, in my mind, that's a huge advantage. Having someone that you can go to, ask questions, that watch the best players play every week, how they play, how they go around a golf course. I think it's a huge advantage. So, I mean, there's probably 10 people that are very influential that I talk to, you know, almost on a daily basis that are, you know, wanting to help, and obviously I'm all ears.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that attitude plays a big role in playing the PGA Tour, and that's the one thing that you possess. You and I have done a lot of outings together. We've played a lot of golf together, and you have a great attitude. You have a great perspective on life and a great perspective in the game, and that's why I believe you're going to get your PGA Tour card and play eventually because you appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, one last question. What are your goals for the upcoming year?
I'm going to play up in Canada again this year. We don't start till the summertime, so, you know, my game is real close, so I'm going to start doing some Monday stuff. Hopefully I'll get a few starts, maybe on the PGA Tour, maybe on the web, and you know, if I play the way I know my game is trending right now, hopefully, you know, Canada is bypassed and go to the web and get some starts there and play well, and obviously, you know, in a year, 2 years,
get
PGA
on tour.
Tour. It'll be fun.
We're all pulling for you, Jamie.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.